If you want to get to know someone better, but always worry about saying or asking the wrong thing, you've come to the right place. Hi, I'm Melanie, and in this clip, we'll be talking about 10 good questions to ask to not only get to know someone better, but also to spur discussions that are interesting and fun. Whether you're on a date or simply conversing with the person you're interested in, it's best to avoid asking anything you yourself wouldn't want to answer. Questions like, how did your last relationship end? Or have you ever been cheated on? Probably aren't the best choices at this stage. Instead, focus on questions that not only help you get to know your date, but have the potential to lead the conversation in a more intimate and personal direction. So if you want to pique the interest of your date, these questions will give you great insight into who they are. So let's take a look at the best questions you can ask not only to get to know the person that you like, but to increase the intimacy between you. And remember, if you like our video, don't forget to like and subscribe below. You can also find a lot more extra tips to improve your dating life at beyondages.com by clicking on the link on the top right now. Number 1, who is the most important person in your life? If family is important to you, this is a great question to ask. Learning who's close to your date's heart can shed a lot of light on how they value relationships. And if you're looking for a long-term relationship, knowing how your date feels about family will let you know what you're in for if you become a couple. Number 2, if you ruled the world, what would you change? This is a question that can lead to a fun and lighthearted chat or launch you into a deep discussion about the issues that you both care about. Either way, it can really help you get to know how your date looks at the world. Whether he or she responds seriously, jokingly, or a mixture of both, you'll be able to get a good handle on your date's personality. Number 3, if you won the lottery, what are the first things you do with your money? There's no better question to ask if you want to learn what your date values. It will give you a pretty good idea if your date is self-absorbed or generous and considerate. This question can also be a lot of fun and may reveal if your date has a playful and imaginative side by coming up with unique or crazy ideas. It can also lead to further discussion on your dreams and ambitions. Number 4, how do you spend your free time? Not everyone has something they'd consider a true passion, so this is easier to answer than a question about favorite hobbies. Keeping your questions low pressure not only makes it more likely you'll get a good answer, but it will also put your date at ease and let them know that you're interested in getting to know them. Number 5, if you never had to sleep, what would you do with the extra time? This is a good question to sneak in when you're wanting to lighten the mood. Unlike the question above, which is about free time, this question dwells on what they would do if they had even more time. This is a great question for getting to know someone since it shows that you know how to approach a hypothetical situation. It's like the lottery question, but instead about money, it's about time. Number 6, what would you want people to remember you for? This is another one of those questions that can lead either to a lot of laughter or to a very serious discussion about one's another's priorities. One thing is sure, this is a question that always sparks a great conversation and gives you more insight into your date's personality and value system. Number 7, what are your biggest pet peeves in a partner? Everyone has things that drive them nuts. Knowing what your date doesn't like can help you determine if you're compatible. If your date can't stand tardiness and you're always running late, you can probably anticipate a few arguments about that. But on the bright side, you can learn early on what needs to compromise. Number 8, if you could change one thing about your life, what would it be? This is a question that allows your date to think big. Maybe it would be landing a dream job or traveling to a new destination every year. Whatever your date comes up with, it will give you a good idea of their values and what is most important to them. Number 9, what's the worst date you've ever been on? Although this is not a question to ask if your time out isn't going well, it's perfect if there's an attraction between the two of you. It will not only show you how forthcoming your date can be, but it can also lead to some really funny stories about past experiences. It can even shed light on the things they find intolerable in a date, which you may want to keep in mind if you want to date them in the future. Number 10, what's the worst pickup line someone has used on you? This question will flow naturally from the worst date question and can also lead to some pretty amusing stories. Not only will you compare favorably to some of the horrific encounters your date has had previously, but this can also lead to some heavy flirting. Talk about what pickup lines they've used on each other, for instance, can add to laughs while also intensifying the attraction between you. So with all these questions you can ask to get to know someone, you won't run out of things to talk about. You can keep the conversation going while learning about each other and growing closer. If you liked our video, please click the like button below and subscribe to our channel. You can also check out our site at beyondages.com, where we talk about dating, love, relationships, and more by clicking on the link in the top right now.